Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf were critically injured in Wednesday's shooting. President Trump announced Thursday evening that Beckstrom had passed away. French police have arrested a man believed to be the fourth member of the team that stole France's crown jewels. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Cybercrime spikes during the holidays, especially around Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Falling victim to a scam is the last thing anyone needs. That's why now is the perfect time to protect yourself and your family with WebRoot Total Protection. Keep your devices safe, your identity secure, and your privacy locked down. Right now, you can get 75% off WebRoot Total Protection at webroot.com/MikeG. That's 75% off, but only for a limited time. Black Friday through Cyber Monday is the busiest shopping time of the year. For hackers and identity thieves, it's basically the Super Bowl. Don't wait around until something goes wrong. Get protected now. With this exclusive discount, WebRoot Total Protection is less than $50 for the whole year. That's all-in-one protection. Devices, identity, privacy, even backup for under $50. Peace of mind for $50? Honestly, that might be the best gift you give yourself this year. Go to webroot.com/MikeG for 75% off, but only for a limited time.
Hemp has become a $24 billion industry since 2018, and that's about to all change. Bob Agnew reports.
A new federal law passed this year will dramatically tighten rules on hemp-derived THC products. That means things like gummies, drinks, and vapes with THC will disappear from shelves unless they're reformulated. That also means products that use CBD, the chemical agent that does not get people high, may disappear as well if they contain more than trace amounts of THC, the chemical agent that does. Consumers can expect big changes in availability and labeling by late next year. Bob Agnew reports.
Italy's fashion house Armani has appointed a new board to guide the company following the death of its founder, Giorgio Armani, earlier this year. The board consists of 8 members, including former Armani executive John Hooks and former Gucci CEO Marco Bizzarri. Breaking news.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
Okay, men, time to be an all-star caregiver. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, be there emotionally and physically. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find care guides at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
PointRadio.com.
It's Friday night in South Carolina, and that means high school football across the Palmetto State. Welcome to the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. We'll bring you scores and reports from every region of the state with expert analysis from David Shelton and interviews with coaches throughout the night. The High School Scoreboard is proudly brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now, from the Scoreboard Studios in Columbia, here's your host, Phil Kornbluth.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the High School Football Scoreboard, the penultimate scoreboard of the 2025 season. For those of you who don't know what the word penultimate means, the plumber will now give you the definition because he's a freshman in college now. He's not using Google or AI. What does it mean?
If I had to assume, that means you said penultimate, right?
Penultimate.
I assume that means the creme de la creme, the best.
No.
Second to best.
Next to last.
Second to best.
Well, next to last.
Creme de la creme. You like
that would be second best. Would be like runner up. And according to Dale Earnhardt, if you
ain't first, you're last.
You're a runner up. You're the first loser. No, penultimate. Scoreboard show, which means upper and lower state championship games. And you know, when you line these things up, you want some great games. You want some tight games. You want some drama. We ain't getting a whole lot of that so far tonight. I mean, not to say the games weren't great. They're great to the winners, but we're just not getting a lot of drama tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the scoreboards and tell you what's been going on out there. David Shelton will be joining us about 10:15. We'll have reporters checking in with us from across the states, and we'll have time tonight, hopefully, to run down some winning head coaches who they love to talk to us on this night, because that means they're going on to the state championship games next weekend at South Carolina State. So here's what we got, and tip of the cap to our buddies at WRHI up in Rock Hill, because they do a great scoreboard. South Point, right up in their area, has beaten Westside 40-0. South Point 40, Westside nothing. That was Upper State 4A. And in the Lower State 4A, South Florence all over Gray Collegiate, 55-14. So it will be South Point and South Florence playing in the state championship game. That should be a great one. These are two really, really good teams, of course. Seems like South Florence has just cemented itself into the state finals weekend. Coach Marlowe and his folks, they do a great job. And South Point, of course, has just been a power for so many years. So only natural that they will meet. So South Point beat Westside 40-0, and South Florence over Gray Collegiate 55-14. Okay. In the fourth quarter, Northwestern is leading Indian Land 44-13. So Northwestern in 5A Division II Upper State, they're going to advance, and they're going to face that team they beat last year in an exciting finals. It'll be Irmo. Irmo beat Berkeley 44-6. So again, a game with not a lot of drama. Irmo wins it big, 44-6. Northwestern is on the verge of winning as well. It'll be Northwestern and Irmo next week. Let's go to 5A Division I. This has gone final. Dutch Fork, they do it again. There's no clapping in this studio. Plumber, there's no favoritism in this studio.
Remind me what happens whenever Latta wins.
I very professionally announced the final score.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They do it again. My alma mater. The Latta Vikings have won.
We had a good year. Dutch Fork beat Dorman 30-10. Dutch Fork. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter who the running back is. They plug and play defensive players year after year after year, and they do it again. Dutch Fork over Dorman 30-10. They're going to play Somerville. Oh. Now, if this isn't going to be, well, you think it's going to be an all-time classic. Somerville is leading James Island 45-8 in the fourth quarter. We thought this one might be close. Turned out not to be. I saw a picture of the crowd at Somerville prior to kickoff from Scotty Iceberg down there. Packed. McKissick Stadium was just packed. So I imagine Somerville will bring a ton. Dutch Fork, I don't know. They win so much. Are you spoiled, you people? You Dutch Fork people, you spoiled?
Certainly spoiled. They will certainly show up, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we shall see. They won't bring as many as Somerville will. Dutch Fork beat Dorman 30-10. Somerville is beating James Island 45-8 in the fourth quarter. That'll be your 5A Division I matchup. 5A Division II matchup, we talked about Irmo and South Florence. In let's see. Let's see. Hang on a second. No. I'm sorry. Irmo advances in 5A Division II. Make sure I get my classes right here. Irmo to play Northwestern. In Division II. South Point and South Florence will be playing in the 4A final. Let's get that right. South Florence won. They'll play in the 4A final. Let's go to 3A. Belton Honeypath looks like they're going to advance. BHP undefeated the Bears 28-7 over Powdersville in the fourth quarter. Oceanside has beaten Loris and beaten them soundly. Boy, what a great year Loris had. Really good team, but Oceanside put it on them 38-7. So if that other score holds up with BHP, it'll be BHP and Oceanside in the 3A final. In 2A, welcome back Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond, for so many years, an absolute power. Kind of faded away there for a little while. They are back. The Rebels are back. They beat Fairfield Central. Heck of a game now. This is one of the best games of the night. Strom Thurmond over Fairfield Central, 15-13. And they will face, let's see, they will face Hampton County. Hampton County beat Central 43-22. Hampton County going to the state championship for the first time, because they haven't been around very long, so this will be their first time, as far as I know. Yes, sir.
We have a Billy Baker hot call standing by with Coach Brent LaPrade from Oceanside Collegiate.
Well, okay. We don't let Billy you never let a hot call go cold. just like a hot meal. You don't let a hot meal go cold. You don't let a hot call go cold. Billy Baker, take it away.
Hey, Phil, Oceanside tonight, 38-7. You've already announced the score. Junior quarterback Aiden Miraviden, outstanding junior quarterback, 22 of 40, 321 yards and 2 touchdowns. But a player that caught all our eyes tonight, Terrence Johnson, number 88, he went 63 yards out of the Wildcat on a 4th-and-1 play early in the first half and caught another touchdown pass. Number 88 is a man among boys. This will be the second straight year Oceanside has played in the finals. They'll be playing next Friday at noon at SC State University. And if you don't mind a small plug, the High School Sports Report will be putting out the official championship programs for all the teams, and we give all 12 teams their separate edition information, hssr.com, in the morning. But I give you Brent LaPrade, an assistant coach last year when the Sharks beat BHP. He'll now face them as the head coach. I give you Brent LaPrade live from the field here in North Charleston. That's Phil.
Well,
hey, Phil, how's it going?
I was going to say, go figure, another LaPrade in a state championship setting. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. The kids worked hard, and they had a tough game tonight, but found a way to get a win tonight.
Well, you beat a heck of a team. Now, Loris has had a great season and really thought this was going to be a tight one. Billy touched on a couple of your top guys. Tell us more about them and how they performed.
Yeah, we had Terrence Johnson went for 3 touchdowns tonight, 2 rushing, 1 passing. Our quarterback, Adam Manavia, and he's just something special. It's like having a coach on the field. But I tell you, the surprise of the night was our defense. Holding that Loris team to 7 points is nothing short of a miracle. They have athletes everywhere. They're well coached. The quarterback, Moon, is unbelievable. But our kids played really hard tonight, and I'm proud of our guys.
Tell us more about the defense. I mean, defense is where you cut your teeth. Tell us more about that defensive performance.
Yeah, we played great tonight. Our defensive front did a good job of trying to make them one-dimensional, and then we did a good job controlling their athletes in the passing game. You know, you're not going to shut those guys down, but we just tried to control them, try to keep Moon in the pocket. And our linebackers, Reese Meredith had a great game tonight. Roe Parsons had a great game. Tyler Stafford. Kids really played hard, and they wanted to make a statement tonight. You know, all the talk was about the offenses coming in, and our defense felt like they got overlooked, and they made a statement tonight holding them to 7 points.
Oh, no question about that. Any early thoughts? Looks like it'll be Belton Honeypath. They're up 28-7. Last update we had, looks like that'll be your opponents. They're undefeated, playing up in the upstate. Any early thoughts on the Bears?
I know they're a really good team with really good coaches, and they are really big. So we're going to have our hands full for sure. But we'll get breaking down film here and tomorrow morning and try to give them a shot, see if we can sneak one away from them.
And let me ask you this. You know, you guys went through the transition at coaching last year. You still won the state championship, and now you step in. What was it like stepping in? I mean, the expectations there, the pressure. Did you feel any of that kind of stuff when you took over?
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of pressure here. We want to get to the big game. A lot of our sports have a good chance of winning a state championship, and that was the plan. But I really inherited a team that was back-to-back state champions, one in 2A 2 years ago and 3A last year. So the plan was just keep the train on the tracks. We didn't change anything we did, just kept doing the same thing. It was really just don't screw it up. They hand me the keys of the Cadillac and just don't wreck it.
Good idea. Coach, congratulations. Thank you for joining us, and have a great week of practice, and we'll see you in Orangeburg.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm a long-time listener of this show, so it's an honor to be talking to you on here.
Well, listen, the LaPrads have always been great to the high school scoreboard because it seems like LaPrads win all the time. So it's a pleasure having you on with us. The best to your family.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you very much. All right, Brent LaPrade at Oceanside Collegiate, and they're moving on to the state championship. The Land Sharks. All right, and congratulations to Loris on a fantastic season as well. All right, we're going to hit the break. We'll come back with more reports. Going to get a report on that Strom-Thurmond game. The Rebels are moving on to the state championship, and we'll update the scores and have more. And David Shelton will be joining us too, and we'll be back.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Avoiding excess financial stress from the holidays doesn't take a Christmas miracle. All it takes is a Christmas loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. Our Christmas loan is designed to ease your Yuletide expenses and help you relax so you can focus on what matters most, spreading joy and love. With our great rates and flexible repayment options, unexpected expenses like decorating, last-minute gifts, or holiday travel accommodations won't break your budget. Plus, you'll get exceptional service that'll make you want to sing, so you can be confident and ready for whatever the holidays might throw your way. Make this holiday season the best one yet when you unwrap some Christmas magic of your own with a Christmas loan. Relax. Put more joy in your budget with Founders Federal Credit Union. Visit an office near you or foundersfcu.com/magic today. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef, it's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
Okay, we're back on the high school scoreboard. Summerville's gone final 45-16. 45-16, Summerville wins. Moving on to play Dutch Fork next week. And we have the final from the Northwestern game. 51-19. Is that right? 51-19 Northwestern wins that one handily. We'll play Irmo. Let's welcome in David Shelton, High School Sports Report, Charleston Post, and Courier. Well, not a whole lot of suspense tonight. That Strom-Thurmond game was tight, but otherwise, a bunch of blowouts across the state.
Yeah, I think what we saw tonight, honestly, not to take anything away from from anybody, any team. But what you saw was the best teams won their games tonight. I mean, I saw the Oceanside Loras game. I watched it on my phone, and I mean, for as much noise as we heard about Loras, and they had a great season, but it wasn't close. I mean, it was not close. Somerville played James Island earlier in the year. They won by 5. Tonight they had 31 points by halftime. Dutch Fork got behind tonight 10-0. They win. Belton Honeypath wins. South Point and South Florence, my God, they were really good tonight. And in Northwestern Irmo, I mean, it's what we all thought. I mean, it's exactly what we thought might happen. A lot of these matchups, we could have picked these in August. Well, I mean, a lot of people did pick Northwestern Irmo to play again. A lot of people, including me, picked Oceanside to play Belton Honeypath again. But great season for all these teams. But honestly, the cream of the crop rose to the top, as they say.
Indeed they did. All right, let's get to more reports. Stand by, David. Let's go to Garrett Mitchell. He got off the chain crew at Woodruff with the loss last week and went down to see Strom Thurmond tonight. And you saw a heck of a ball game. How did it work out this way for the Rebels?
Well, David, first, let me tell you, look, just because Woodruff season ends doesn't mean I don't quit going to football. I'm like that uninvited guest. I'll just slide right in the back door of the party, then I'll take over the joint. So it was but no, in all seriousness, I've got some good friends who are Strom Thurmond grads who follow their football program. And so whenever the chance presents, I like to go down and throw my support behind the Rebels. But it was an unbelievable game tonight. And your $2 word for the night is attrition, but don't worry, I won't charge anybody for that one. It was so Thurmond got the ball to begin the ball game, and they drove it right down the field, and they scored. They went for 2 and didn't get it, and this was something I found out that Coach Andrew Webb likes to do, is on the first score of the game, if Strom Thurmond scores first, he'll go for 2. And he didn't pick it up, so it's a 6-0 ball game. Well, Fairfield Central comes back, and their starting quarterback, who's a very dynamic athlete, suffered what looked to be a pretty devastating injury on about the 3rd play of their first drive. This young man was taken off on a stretcher in an ambulance, and so, first and foremost, everybody listening out there, pray for this young man because it did not look very good. And so you wondered how Fairfield would respond to that. Well, their defense kept them in the ballgame, so much to the point that their only touchdown of the night, their only touchdown until the final 1 second of the ball game came on a pick 6 late in the second quarter. And it looked like the Griffins would take a 7-6 lead into halftime, but Thurmond was able to put together maybe a bit more of a methodical drive than I would like to see with under 2 minutes on the clock, but they were able to get it down to the 11-yard line, yard field goal. And that was a 9-7 lead for Thurmond that stood until the final minute and a half of the ballgame. Rebels got down inside the 5. They punched in what looked like to be the game-icing touchdown with a little over a minute to play. The point after was blocked. And so that left the door cracked ever so slightly at 15-7. Fairfield gets a great return on the kickoff deep inside Thurmond territory. Griffins punched it in from the 1-yard line as time expired. Had to go for 2. 2 timeouts later, they run out of the Wildcat. And if you ask me now, if you ask me tomorrow, or if you ask me next week whether their guy got across the goal line, I'm honestly not sure that I would be able to tell you. It was that close. But the official said he didn't get in. That's all that matters. And Strom Thurmond has their date with Hampton County down in Orangeburg next Saturday.
What a finish. What a finish. What was kind of the reaction on the sidelines to that 2-point conversion attempt?
to be honest, Phil, the Thurman players, they recognized and understood that they had gotten the stop before the crowd did. Everybody, all of us sitting up in the stands, we weren't sure yet because we had not seen any type of indication from the official, the linesman down looking straight down the goal line. But the Thurman players already knew that they had gotten a stop, and they're already running back to the sideline. They're dogpiling, and I think that's when the realization finally reached the fans that, yeah, hey, we got it. We had suffered a few extra years off of our lives here, but we've punched our ticket. It's the first time Thurman's played for a title in 20 years, 2005.
Yeah, they used to be every year right in there, and I knew they had been away for a little while. Hey, man, Garrett, thank you so much. Awesome stuff. Appreciate you. And we'll talk to you. If we don't talk to you next week for some reason, we'll talk to you next year.
Well, you won't talk to me next week. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make any of the title games, but while I am on the line, just going to throw one last final 2025 shout-out. I will be down in Murrells Inlet next Saturday. My wife and I are going down to surprise my parents who have retired down there. It's their 50th wedding anniversary on Saturday, and so they don't know it yet, but I'm changing their dinner reservations from 2 to 4, and we're going to show up and walk in, and we're going to treat them to dinner for their 50th wedding anniversary. So, look, they put up with me for 40 years, so it's the least that I can do.
Well, I hope they're listening, but now I hope they're not listening because you don't want to.
Well, they're not the really sports fans in the traditional sense, and I know they're probably asleep for the night. So, I don't think I have to worry about giving away the surprise.
Okay, Garrett. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate the report.
All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there. We'll talk again in August.
Same to you. Thank you so much. David, very quickly, minute before the break, how about the return of Strom Thurmond to statewide prominence?
Yeah, that's a great story. And, they're going to need that really good defense. Hampton County's got a great offense. And that's going to be a war. That 2A game will be a war.
First time for Hampton County, correct?
Yes.
Because they're only 3 or 4 years old?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right, stand by. Got more reports coming up. David Cloninger with the story on Northwestern's win tonight, and Tyson Gooding from Hampton County to tell us about that story. Meantime, college football, big story brewing in Austin, Texas, early fourth quarter. Hook 'em horns. Texas leading A&M 20-10. 20-10, early fourth quarter. All right, this is the high school football scoreboard. Sports Talk Media Network brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
With many still unaccounted for, authorities said fire alarms in the complex, which housed many older people, did not sound during the fire. Authorities arrested 8 more people involved in the building's renovation. This is SRN News.
Cybercrime spikes during the holidays, especially around Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Falling victim to a scam is the last thing anyone needs. That's why now is the perfect time to protect yourself and your family with WebRoot Total Protection. Keep your devices safe, your identity secure, and your privacy locked down. Right now, you can get 75% off WebRoot Total Protection at webroot.com/MikeG. That's 75% off, but only for a limited time. Black Friday through Cyber Monday is the busiest shopping time of the year. For hackers and identity thieves, it's basically the Super Bowl. Don't wait around until something goes wrong. Get protected now. With this exclusive discount, WebRoot Total Protection is less than $50 for the whole year. That's all-in-one protection. Devices, identity.
Hi, I'm Tazima. Join me every Saturday at 11 a.m. for Small Business Saturday. We'll celebrate business owners in our community while learning their stories of success and failure. It's Small Business Saturday right here at 100.7 The Point.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
This Panther Update is brought to you by UNC Charlotte.
As the Panthers get set to host the LA Rams, we pay tribute to a man who was one of the Rams' all-time great players, but also part of Panthers history as well, in the great Roman Gabriel. I'm Jim Zoki with the Panthers Update after this.
Charlotte's momentum has a name, UNC Charlotte. 32,000 students strong, ranked among the nation's top 75 public universities, recognized at the highest level for research, unmatched access to Fortune 500 companies, built for a top-tier city. This isn't typical higher ed. The difference is scale. The difference is momentum. The difference is Charlotte, UNC Charlotte.
Roman Gabriel was born and raised in Wilmington, North Carolina, where he was a star player at New Hanover High School. From there, he went on to be a quarterback at NC State, where he was a two-time ACC Player of the Year and a two-time All-American in 1960 and 61. After being drafted in 1962 into the NFL, he would play 16 years, invited to 4 Pro Bowls, and was the 1969 Most Valuable Player with the Rams, where he played for 11 years. Off the field, Roman appeared in a number of popular TV shows and movies, and as a broadcaster for CBS TV and radio, before becoming a Carolina Panthers' first ever color commentator for 7 years, joining Bill Rosinski and me from 1995 to 2001. Then he moved back to the Carolina coast, living in the Little River area before passing away in 2024 at the age of 83. Roman was inducted into both the NC State and the College Football Hall of Fame, but unfortunately never the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton.
And I look at this way, how lucky I am that I got to play the Wilmington Sports Hall of Fame and North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame, the NC State Hall of Fame. So, you know, my pocket's full, really.
I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
This Panther Update has been brought to you by UNC Charlotte, built for a top-tier city. The difference is Charlotte, UNC Charlotte.
I'm here to fill time, because as everyone knows, when a radio station has dead air, Daddy loses money. Albeit these guys are getting such a deal, Daddy's not losing that much money. So take that, Mr. No Raise in 48 years. Ooh, that was great. Now check this out.
We are back on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornbluth, David Shelton, the plumber, Josh Cohen. If you're just joining us, all the scores are now in. All the scores are now final. State championship games next week at South Carolina State are set. 5A Division I, Dutch Fork 30, Dorman 10. Upper State, Lower State, Somerville 46, James Island 16. 5A Division II Upper State, Northwestern 51, Indian Land 19, Lower State, Irmo 44, Berkeley 6. 4A Upper State, South Point 40, Westside nothing, Lower State, South Florence 55, Gray Collegiate 14. 3A, Upper State. Belton Honeypath, 35. Powdersville, 7. Oceanside Collegiate, 38. Loris, 7. 2A, Upper State. Strom Thurmond, 15. Fairfield Central, 13. Hampton County in the Lower State, 43. Central, 22. 1A, Upper State. Lamar, 48. Louisville, 27. Lower State, this was a good one. Bamberg Earhart, 29. Cross, 26. There you go. We're set with the state championships next week. Let's get back to folks covering games. And let me say, this is the last time that we'll be having folks calling in to the Scoreboard Show. Want to thank each and every one of the reporters who called us throughout the season. I know sometimes we can be a pain in the backside trying to get you on with us, but I know people across the state who listen to this show love hearing reports from games, so we really appreciate everybody who called in throughout the season. With that being said, let's welcome in David Kleininger from the Charleston Post and Courier, not necessarily a prep writer. He leaves that to David, but he is the biggest fanboy of Northwestern High School that there is. And so he was at the game tonight, and he's good enough to be able to be cheering but absorbing at the same time. So thank you for joining us once again. And, boy, the Trojans must have looked really good tonight, putting 51 on the board.
Oh, Phil, all I got to say, first of all, is we're back. But fanboy, no, I'm just a loyal, faithful alum. That's all that is.
Okay.
But, Northwestern beat up on Indian Land 3 weeks ago to end the regular season. The score of that game was 52-13. So when Indian Land beat Hannah last week, which I can tell you, not many Northwestern coaches wanted to see TL Hannah come into District 3 tonight, and they got their wish. Everybody kind of knew another rematch with Indian Land. Maybe it's close, maybe not. But Northwestern took a 24-0 lead on a very, very cold night. I'm just now getting feeling back in my toes. And, pretty solid opening first half. In the second half, Indian Land came out. Northwestern got the ball first, threw a beautiful touchdown pass, but they couldn't come up with it in the end zone. Kid just dropped it. And right then it became a game of Northwestern's defense not playing very disciplined and a full-on referee show. Pretty much every play was a flag, which I believe it was about still 10 o'clock in the third quarter was still going on. Or maybe 9:45 and the third quarter was still going on. But Indian Land cut it to within, I believe it was 13 points. And I thought, I was here last week and saw Northwestern give up a 24-point lead before they ended up beating Gaffney by a touchdown. But Northwestern ended up scoring again, and then Tamarian Watkins intercepted a pass and took it back to the end zone to really put a capper on it. Northwestern also did recover an onside kick and take it back to the house as well to get that 51st point. But, Indian Land had a great season. The only two games they lost all year were to Northwestern, and the Trojans are heading back to the state championship. A little bit of trivia: as much success as they've had, the Trojans have never won state one year and gotten back the very next year. So this is the first time they're doing it, and they'll get a rematch against Irmo.
And we're looking forward to that, and I know we'll see you there. And thank you so much for the reporting. Great stuff as always. Have a great weekend. Not sure how the Gamecock men's basketball team survived without you there to watch them play Choso today, but they managed.
Yeah, I was keeping track with it right before I went over to the game and thought, please don't make me have to miss the football game to have to write up how Charleston Southern beat USC. But they pulled it off.
They did. All right, man. See you tomorrow.
Sounds good, Phil. Thanks.
Thank you. DC, is the beat writer covering the Gamecocks for the Post and Courier, in case you were wondering, but Northwestern is his number one team, no question about it. All right, David, so Northwestern built a big lead, kind of weathered a little bit of a rally by Indian Land, and they're moving on. But let's give Indian Land the old tip of the cap because, this has got to be their first taste of glory, so to speak. Got to be their first taste of glory in football in the school history.
Yeah, I can't remember them ever being this far. Their only two losses were to Northwestern, and Northwestern is the defending state champ, so Yeah, they had a great year. You heard Scott Early say last week. You know, a lot of those schools up that way on the border are getting transfers from North Carolina and building powerhouses. And that's not a negative. That's great wherever kids want to go play and succeed. But you know, they lose some good players. The young man's going to Carolina. Is Patterson, I think is his name.
Yeah, Sequel Patterson.
Yeah, I think their quarterback was a sophomore though. But yeah, I mean, great year for them. They just, I mean, that's a tall order to ask them to go to Northwestern and beat those guys.
Every year, Northwestern is right there, and another great win for them, and they're moving on to face Irmo. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Let's go to Tyson Gahagan with Hampton County tonight. Down there with the Big Dog Radio, and they've latched on to a big-time winner, Hampton County, 43-22 over Central. Tyson, thank you for joining us. And how exciting is it down there around Hampton County for this relatively new school to make it to the state championship game for the first time?
Absolutely, Phil. Absolutely. So, you know, Wayne Hampton and Estill High School combined. This is third year now to make Hampton County, and you know, when that happened, we only knew it would be a matter of time until that team really grew together and was able to produce one heck of a football team. And combining those two schools really churned out some athletes. And I just knew it would be a matter of time before that happened. With that being said, so far in the playoffs, Hampton County has just rolled through. Their closest game was 18 points to Sherall 2 weeks ago. Handled Lake City round 1, Sherall 2, and blew out Manning last week 56-6, and then took care of business here tonight. First quarter was a good one. Hampton County drove down the field, going to kick a PAT, and Central jumped offside, so they went for 2, got that. Central came right back with a nice 6-minute drive and answered, tied it up 8-8, and then that was just about it after that. Hampton County, Jalen Singletary, as he's done all night long, stud running back, going to Myrtle Beach playing the All-Star game, had 5 touchdowns tonight, over 300 yards on the ground, just a absolute stud. So, yeah, we're looking forward to heading to Orangeburg next week, Oliver C. Dawson, to watch some state championship football.
Well, first time, and of course Strom Thurmond, first time for them in a long time too. You probably got I don't know, you got people around Strom Thurmond. I guess they've aged a little bit, maybe become fathers or grandfathers since the last time the Rebels played for a state championship. But for Hampton County, I mean, you guys are newbies. How do you does the school know how to react to being in a state championship setting?
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's been a while since either Estill or Hampton. Like I said, they combined 3 years ago to make one, but it's been a while since any of them have actually gone to the state championship. So it'll be good for everybody to get out. I'm excited for the fans that have stuck with it, you know, year after year. It'll be really, really fun time for everybody to go next week and watch.
I think you're right. Will you bring a big crowd? Do they draw well?
Oh, absolutely. Orangeburg's not but about an hour and a half ride, so shouldn't be too bad of a ride at all. I think should pack the stands really, really good. Rolling through Denmark right now on the way to Columbia to get ready to watch the Gamecocks and the Tigers tomorrow.
Well, we'll see you there.
All right, Phil. I appreciate it, guys. Hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. Y'all have a Merry Christmas, fellas. Take care.
You too. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right. Congratulations to Hampton County for advancing. Congratulations to Central, David, for another outstanding year. Looks like Central football, that's is that not Trent Usher?
No, Trent is now at Louisville.
Louisville. Okay. All right. Who's at Central?
The guy that Jonathan Eason that used to be at Chesterfield.
Okay.
But he is a Central graduate. Like he played back when Al Usher was coach.
Gotcha. Well, good for them that they made it this far. I know they're disappointed, but what about the job they've done there at Hampton County in a short time to mold a state championship contending team?
Yeah, I think honestly, from talking to other coaches around the state, you know, over the last 2 years or so. Their head coach, Rob Hanna, man, he is really good. And a lot of coaches have told me, that he was going to do well there. He brought that community together, or those two communities, and brought those players together. And, they ran into Oceanside 2 years ago, and it wasn't good, but they just continued to grow and continued to build, and they're in the state finals. And early line, I would pick them. I would pick them to win the game.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more about that a little bit later on when we get to the Shelton Says segment of the show tonight, where David tells you who's going to win the state championship games. That's coming up a little bit later on. All right. Thank you for that report, Tyson. We go to the break. We'll come back with more. We got Thomas Grant standing by to tell us about the Irmo win tonight. Irmo moving on to the state championship. We got other folks standing by as well. So we'll get to more reports coming up. And just saw where Texas A&M scored. So it looks like they've cut the Texas lead down to 3 in the fourth quarter. Looks like they're headed towards an exciting finish there in Austin, Texas. You're listening to the High School Football Scoreboard across the state on the Sports Talk Media Network, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. We'll be right back.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
You work hard for your money. Shouldn't your money work hard for you too? Think about all the hours you've put in, the late nights, the early mornings, the dedication to your craft. Now imagine those dollars doing some of the heavy lifting for a change, growing quietly in the background while you focus on what matters most. Whether you're saving for a dream vacation, a new home, or just building a cushion for peace of mind, putting your money to work is one of the smartest moves you can make. Open a certificate at Founders Federal Credit Union and earn more with your savings. For a limited time only, Founders is offering 18-month certificates at 4.32% annual percentage yield and 18-month IRA certificates at 4.58% annual percentage yield. To get started, visit foundersfcu.com/dividend rates or one of our many convenient office locations. All you need is $500 to get started, but don't delay. These rates won't last. Open your certificate today. Your future self will thank you for opening a certificate at Founders. Federally insured by the NCUA. Membership qualification required. $500 minimum balance. 18-month term. Dividends compound quarterly. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
We are back on the High School Scoreboard. Good to have you with us on this Friday night. Very busy as we crown upper and lower state champs and get ready for the state championships next Friday and Saturday at South Carolina State. Of course, we'll be there Friday night with Sports Talk and the High School Scoreboard. Hopefully, David Shelton will be with us. Can you make it to Orangeburg?
I would guess not, but we'll see.
Well, you'll be there in spirit and over the phone at the very least.
I'll be watching it on TV.
Let's go to Thomas Grant, who was at the Irmo game tonight. Irmo, of course, advancing to face Northwestern again, state championship game. Tonight, Irmo beat Berkeley 44-6. And welcome in, Thomas. Summing up from an Irmo standpoint, I got Chris Deering standing by who can talk about it from the Berkeley side because he's a former Stag. So sum up the Irmo performance for us.
Well, basically, it starts off offensively. It begins and ends with Malik Miller. He had a hat trick tonight with 3 touchdowns, all 3 in spectacular fashion. He actually opened up the scoring after it looked like Berkeley was going to take an early advantage after they took advantage of a fumble, recovered it, but they weren't able to convert the 4th down, and that ended up leaving the first quarter scoreless. But as the start of the second quarter came, they gave the first of 2 handoffs that he took to the left side, to the right side, basically outrunning the entire defense each time. The first yard was for 15 yards, then he had a short one for 3 yards to put Irmo up 13-0 after they missed the PAT. As Berkeley was backed up at their own end, this was the other part of the story, was the Irmo defensive line. It's just literally, for the most part, Berkeley was not able to do anything with the guys up front, starting with, of course, Jaden Bryant, who, after the defense had forced a fumble, he able to recover it and ran into the end zone to get a touchdown to make it 20-0. By the way, on a recruiting update, he'll be at South Carolina visiting. That'll be his first recruiting visit anywhere since he went to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So just before halftime, Irmo got the ball back when we were looking to try to score, but Drayvon Dobson ended up throwing an interception to Berkeley, which they were able to recover near midfield, and they were able to get a quick score on a touchdown pass by Henry Rivers from 14 yards. But they also missed the extra point. They went for the 2-point reversion and failed, so it left it at 26 at halftime. And then the second half, after a field goal by Tucker Williams made it 23-6, it was all Irmo from there. They just basically shut down the offense of Berkeley. They were just not able to do anything against the guy, Bryant, also Nate Carson, Tyrone Jennings, Major Taylor. They just were not able to do anything up front. And then Irmo was able to get basically 2 similar rushing touchdowns from Amir White, both on a delay handoff where he just burst through the defense in the 4th quarter to score. And the second touchdown was set up by a botch. It looked like it was an extra point attempt. Actually an onside kick that was recovered by Irmo. And next play he was able to score. And then the final score, fittingly, came on Malik Taylor, where he got the punt return, went 70 yards into the end zone, and that closed out the scoring. So now Irmo's going for just the first time since 1980, going to back-to-back state title games. This is the 8th appearance, and second straight year going against Northwestern. We all know how last year ended on a field goal in the final seconds, and I think the key for this year will be just how that experienced Northwestern offensive line is going to do against this very hungry and just as much experienced defensive line, and that's what's going to be just the key. Both teams have been averaging over 40, 50 points during the playoffs. I got a feeling that the score may be a little bit more tighter as you go to Orangeburg next week.
Thomas, great job as always. We'll see you in Oberg next week. Let's go to, and thank you again, Thomas. Great job. And let's bring up Chris Deering, covering the game for Prep Red Zone in South Carolina. And I know that Berkeley's your old place, you old Stag, you. But you got to give tip of the cap to Irmo because obviously they played very well tonight.
Yeah, it was not much of a game, as Thomas alluded to just a minute ago. I'll tell you one thing that I thought really was a big key. Berkeley got inside the red zone on their first 2 possessions and came away with no points. And that, when you miss those opportunities against a really good defense, things usually come out and bite you, and that's what happened to the Stags. Irmo jumped up to 20-0 lead. Berkeley scored right before the half to make it 20-6. And then, like Thomas said, Malik Miller ran the punt back. Amir White had 2 long touchdown runs. Just a really talented Irmo team. You know, a little different team than what they had last year when they had A.J. Brand at quarterback. You know, he sort of put them on his back and carried them, but they got a lot of playmakers, a lot of different guys that can hurt you. And then I think they're really good in the trenches. They might be a little bit better in the trenches than they were a season ago.
Well, when you're talking about guys like Nate Carson and Jaden Bryant in the trenches, and then and Miller's emerging as a big-time prospect, sounds like they've found a very capable, suitable quarterback to replace Brand to keep that offense humming.
Yeah, Drayvon Dobson made some really good decisions tonight, and you know kept the chains moving. I'll tell you, there's no secret what Irmo does when they put Malik Miller in the backfield. They run like a jumbo package, and they put Jaden Bryant and Major Taylor and Tyrone Jennings, all 3 defensive linemen, into the game, and they run to the side of those guys' lineup. And the first 2 touchdowns ran right behind those guys for Miller, and you know you just can't stop it. I mean, you got that mass of great D1 talent blocking on the offensive line and on the edge, and I don't think anybody has stopped it much this year. And with Malik Miller being, you know, your speed guy, your outside, your edge guy, and then Amir White running in between the tackles. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch. And then one guy that I don't think Thomas mentioned, the freshman wide receiver that Irmo has, Corey Miller. Man, he's fantastic. He and Malik are brothers. And one more year of them playing together, that's going to be something else to watch over there at Irmo.
Yeah. It's all this state needs is another Corey Miller. We've already had one Corey
That's
Miller
right,
come through.
yeah.
Actually, there was another Corey Miller after the original Corey Miller that came through a few years ago, but now looks like we got a third one. Thank you very much, Mr. Deering. Have yourself a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. See you next Friday.
Thank you. Look forward to it. David Shelton, Irmo, man, what a job Coach Brand after coming over from North Carolina. Like so many North Carolina coaches that come over here, he's done a great job.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, if you just said Irmo was going to be in back-to-back state title games, you know, people would have laughed at you, because not that, you know, when Bob Hanna was coach, they were competitive and they had a couple of good seasons, but this team is in that dominant level. They're not just beating people, they're beating them down, except for Dutch Fork, of course.
Except for Dutch Fork, of course. All right. We need Northwestern and Dutch Fork to hook up. That'd be kind of cool. All right, top of the hour break. David, don't go away. Don't doze off. We got another hour coming up here on the High School Scoreboard.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Ron Taylor. The charges against the man who authorities say shot 2 National Guard members have been upgraded to first-degree murder after one of the soldiers died. Janine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, announced the new charge earlier today. Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf were critically injured in Wednesday's shooting in the nation's capital. President Trump announcing Thursday evening that Beckstrom had passed away. Authorities say Romanula Lachenwald drove across the country to carry out an ambush-style attack. The U.S. announcing earlier today that a halt to all asylum decisions is underway. Winter storm warnings have been posted across the northern part of the country.
Thanksgiving holiday weekend travelers from Montana to New York are facing snow, rain, and cold weather. More snow is falling over the Great Lakes region, with totals of at least a foot in parts of Michigan and in areas off of Lakes Erie and Ontario. The National Weather Service says the forecast conditions do not meet blizzard warning criteria. Meanwhile, the South could see heavy storms with some flash flooding this weekend in the western Gulf Coast. Greg Clogston reporting.
Vladimir Zelensky's chief of staff has resigned amid widening Ukraine corruption investigations.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky announced Friday a reset of his presidential office and the resignation of Andrei Yermak, his powerful chief of staff and longtime confidant. Yermak was Ukraine's lead negotiator in talks with the U.S. A spokesman for Yermak says they weren't told what it was related to, but the agencies have been investigating a major energy sector corruption scandal that has involved top Ukrainian officials. Zelensky says that as they prepare to talk peace, they need internal strength and no distractions. I'm Jennifer King.
Hong Kong firefighters have found dozens more bodies in a high-rise complex after a massive fire, the death toll at 128. News and analysis at townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-367-2816. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-367-2816. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-367-2816. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-367-2816 or biglou.com.
Boeing and NASA have agreed to keep astronauts off the company's next Starliner flight to the International Space Station, settling for a trial run with cargo instead to prove the capsule's safety.
That announcement comes 8 months after the first and only Starliner crew hitched a return trip to Earth aboard SpaceX. In 2024, NASA test pilots Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams managed to dock Boeing's Starliner to the International Space Station. But the capsule had so many problems that NASA ordered the capsule to return to Earth empty, leaving the astronauts stuck on the space station for more than 9 months. Boeing engineers are still working on Starliner's thruster and other issues. Boeing says they are still committed to the Starliner program. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
You'll find breaking news and analysis online at townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor reporting.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with the point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
It's Friday night in South Carolina, and that means high school football across the Palmetto State. Welcome to the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. We'll bring you scores and reports from every region of the state with expert analysis from David Shelton and interviews with coaches throughout the night. The High School Scoreboard is proudly brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now, from the Scoreboard Studios in Columbia, here's your host, Phil Kornbluth.
And welcome back in. High School Football Scoreboard. Sports Talk Media Network, hour number 2 on this Friday night of the upper and lower state championships across South Carolina. Phil Kornblut, David Shelton, and the plumber, Josh Cohen. Back to reports in just a moment. If you're just joining us, let's tell you about all the final scores one more time. In 5A Division I Upper State, it was Dutch Fork over Dorman, 30-10. Summerville defeated James Island, 45-16 in the lower state. 5A Division II Upper State, Northwestern 51, Indian Land 19. Lower State, Irmo 44, Berkeley 6. 4A Upper State, South Point 40, Westside nothing, and South Florence 55, Gray Collegiate 14. 3A in the Upper State, Belton Honeypath 35, Powdersville 7, Lower State, Oceanside Collegiate 38, Loris 7. 2A Upper State, Strom Thurmond 15, Fairfield Central 13. Lower State, Hampton County 43, Central 22. And in 1A, Lamar beat Louisville 48-27 in the Upper State. In the Lower State, Bamberg Earhart edged Cross 29-26. There you go. Those are all the finals. And Plumber, before we go to the calls, why don't you run through the schedule? You've been working on the schedule. Putting the games down at proper times, proper day, Friday, Saturday at South Carolina State. Give us the schedule.
Friday, December 5th, starting at noon, or 12:06 technically, we have the 3A State Championship, BHP versus Oceanside Collegiate. Next up at 4:06 p.m., 1A, Lamar versus Bamberg Earhart. That's, like I said, that's 4:06 p.m. And then the last game of the evening, 7:36 p.m., the 5A Division II, Northwestern versus Irmo. Then on Saturday afternoon at 12:06, the 4A State Championship, South Point versus South Florence. And then at 4:06 p.m. that afternoon, it's the 2A State Championship, Strom Thurmond versus Hampton County. Then finally, at 7:36 p.m., the 5A Division I Championship, Dutch Fork versus Summerville.
Okay. Hey, David, you and I have been covering state championships for half a century, it seems. Can you recall that the last game of the playoffs weekend turned out to be the biggest schools at the very end? Is that kind of new, isn't it?
No, I think it happened when they were doing it at Williams Price on the weekend of champions. Because then we only had 4 classifications. So I know there were 4A games. It rotated back then, and I'm talking years ago. But with 5 classifications, I think last year they played the 5A Division I game on Thursday, like at noon. That makes absolutely no sense. So I think the biggest crowd will be that night. Although I think South Florence and South Point will probably bring some people in. And last year, Belton Honeypath filled their side, so I'm sure they're going to travel really good too.
I imagine Summerville will travel really big.
Yeah. I mean, they should. And it being on a Saturday night with Clemson, Carolina not playing and all that, there'll be some. If the weather is decent, I would think Summerville will travel pretty well.
All right, quick update on Texas A&M. Texas is leading by 10 with 2:26 to go, 27-17. So barring a collapse, Texas is going to win, which means if I understood what I was just reading about the SEC championship and everything related to tiebreakers and et cetera, by the virtue of A&M losing tonight, that'll put Georgia in the SEC championship game as one of the teams in the SEC championship game. And I believe, if I read everything right, if Alabama beats Auburn, then Alabama will be the other. So you'll have Alabama. If Alabama wins, you'll have Alabama, Georgia in the SEC championship game. As if we haven't seen that before. Okay, let's go to Travis Jenkins. with the story tonight on Lamar's win over Louisville, 48-27. Great year for Louisville, but Lamar just too strong, Travis. The Silver Foxes must have put together a heck of a complete game tonight.
They sure did, Phil. Kind of the Zori Pierce show. He's the quarterback for Lamar, North-South All-Star, and he showed why tonight. So Louisville gets the ball first, and Coach Usher had told me he wanted to come in and establish the run, but they had some play they wanted to try to hit a deep pass with on their first play from scrimmage. It wasn't there. Their quarterback, Jalen Colt, got pressured, scrambled around, kind of threw across his body. It was picked off. So first play from scrimmage is an interception. They gave the ball to Lamar at the 30. A couple of plays later, Price scored the first of his many touchdowns on the night to put his team up 7-0. Louisville gets the ball back, goes 3 and out. They were right near midfield, and it was 4th and short. They tried to go for it, didn't get it. Lamar goes down. Pierce scores again, so it's 14-0. Louisville turns the ball over again. Pierce goes up top, throws a touchdown pass, 20-0. It's 27-0, and Louisville does not yet have their first down of the night. They were just completely shell shocked. So finally, late in the second, they finally put together a nice 10-play drive, cap it with a 6-yard touchdown run by Jacorian Howes out of the Wildcat, and it's 27-7 going into the half. Lamar gets the ball first, and then they turn it over on the first play from scrimmage, as Louisville did on the first play of the first half. Louisville takes advantage of that. I think Jalen Colt ended up punching it in from in close. So it's 27-14. Louisville's got the momentum back on their side. They've kind of gotten up off the mat a little bit. And then Lamar just goes on, I think, a 14-play drive, converted 3 third downs on that one. Pierce scores another touchdown. And then it's kind of back and forth. But, really the story of the night was the fact that Lamar was really dominant in the trenches on both sides. They were just consistently able to run the ball. They didn't have to throw it a lot. Pierce did throw 2 touchdown passes. He accounted for 6 tonight, by the way. He ran for 4. But, every time Louisville got close, Lamar had an answer. And talking to Coach Usher afterward, he said, you can say a lot of things about the game. You can't get down 27-0 to a team as good as Lamar at their place. You can't have 2 turnovers and give them 2 easy scores. But he said the bottom line was, they kicked their tails in the trenches, and he went as far as to say they're going to win the state championship. That he didn't think whoever came out of the lower state could match the level of physicality that Coach Boyd's team showed tonight, and they certainly did that. And Zori Pierce was just a huge part of it. He runs that offense really well, throws it well when he has to, but he's such a dynamic athlete. At one point, I think when it was 27-14. And they had a long drive going. They were actually facing 4th and goal from the 16. He scrambles around, gets the sideline, and nobody touches him. And he scores a touchdown. And that's just kind of how it went all night. So great year for Louisville for sure. A second straight year having their season end in the Upper State Championship game. But Lamar, after a 1-2 start, is hot as anybody in the state right now. They've won 12 in a row, and I guess they will face Bamberg Earhart for the state championship next week.
Travis, great job as always, man. We appreciate it, and maybe we'll see you in Orangeburg. If not, we will talk to you next football season. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. Great job as always, Phil and David, too.
You too, my friend. Thank you for being with us. Have a great holiday season.
All right, you too.
Thank you. David, there's just something very natural about a coach named Boyd leading Lamar to the state championship game.
Yeah. there have been a few, yep.
Is this a relative?
I think it's who's the coach that took them to 3 in a row?
JR.
I think it's his son.
Okay. Well, he was. Yeah, you're right. I'm seeing it right here. He's the son of former Lamar football coach J.R. Boyd, who led the Silver Foxes to 3 state championships in the early 2000s. He played baseball at Francis Marion and was eventually named to Francis Marion's all-decade team in baseball. So he's a heck of an athlete. And you know, Lamar,
really good baseball player.
Lamar is such a it's such a great story about football. Lamar, that town producing so much talent for such a small school, small town, produces so much football talent. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I obviously have not seen them play, but people rave about that quarterback at Lamar, that he's just a super duper athlete.
Okay, let's go to James Fisher. James Fisher joining us now. James, tonight, South Florence and Gray Collegiate, and man, South Florence on its game tonight. When they're on their game, nobody's going to beat them, 55-14. James, thank you for joining us. Tell us about the Bruins and the big win tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
You said it. Drew Marlowe and his staff had the Bruins locked in again on another state championship, or excuse me, a lower state championship. Their 4th in a row. They'll be playing to win their 3rd 4A state championship. It was quite to the Bruins formula as normal. They got it off early on the ground. Messiah Jackson scored on the opening drive of the game from 35 yards out, and then he threw another touchdown pass to Jayon Perkins late in the first quarter to extend the lead to 14-0. And then the following possession, Amari Reeves intercepted his 4th interception in 2 games, might I add. He is having quite the playoff run. We'll talk about Mr. Reeves here again in a moment. Later on, that led to a Messiah Jackson touchdown. Again, we'll talk again about Messiah Jackson having multiple rushing touchdowns. And then finally a little bit of life for Gray Collegiate. They got on the board with a nice touchdown pass from Xavier Wright, their great freshman, to J.P. Sweat, their tight end. And that was 21-7 with about 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. And then on the pursuing kickoff, Amari Reeves took it 87 yards to the house to just crush Gray Collegiate's hopes. And from that point on, it was how the Bruins normally like to do it. Messiah Jackson ended up with 6 total touchdowns, 1 through the air, 5 on the ground. And the Bruins just dominated in typical fashion for them, and it's going to be a heck of a matchup whenever they play South Point next week.
Oh, my gosh. Absolutely. How old is this South Florence team? Is it made up of a bunch of older guys who've been a major part of this run, or are they just replenishing with fresh blood every season?
That's what's so great about it. There's a lot of seniors from that team last year. Messiah Jackson is coming back as their senior quarterback. Terry Gordon, a senior. Both of them won Region Players of the Year on offense and defense. But it's a lot of the names that you don't typically know as far as guys that have really stepped up. Warnell Prue, who's a junior for them, he got a lot of reps. A sophomore for them. He got a lot of reps as a freshman in the playoffs last year. He's really making a name for himself. And Amari Reeves, he kind of stepped into that safety role last year, but really not many teams really picked at him a lot this year. But playing against all these quarterbacks that'll try to air it out a little bit more in the playoffs, he's really showing the kind of talent that he's had. But it's not the statewide recognition that you normally get as far as like the Stellar Boys and Amari Adams from last year, who was the number 1 player in the state. But this Bruins team, up and down, offense, defense, special teams, is as good of a coach team as I've ever seen in high school football. And they are locked in on Drew Marlowe's mission, man.
Hey, James, great job. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next week in Orangeburg. And thank you so much for the reports. Look for you next week.
Yes, sir. Excited to call it. Excited to see y'all. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. James Fisher calling the South Florence Bruins. David, South 4 straight lower state titles. I mean, that's now you're getting up to dynasty level. Now you got to win some state championships, which they have. I guess they've won 3 of those 4. So I guess maybe they are at that dynasty level.
Yeah. They're as much as, I mean, obviously there is no Dutch Forks in the state, but I think what you're seeing, schools like Northwestern and South Florence are becoming, and South Point. I should not forget South Point. They're becoming, modern day dynasty type football programs.
Big win tonight for South Florence. They'll play South Point. South Point won over Westside 40-0. Those two teams will meet next week in Orangeburg. All right, we're going to take a quick break and come back with some more reports. Appreciate the folks holding on to give us reports on games tonight. We'll get to you right after the break. And coming up, you don't want to miss the most popular feature of every football season in South Carolina. Shelton Says. When David Shelton calls a championship, he seldom misses. That'll be coming up later, and we'll be back.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Shop for the holidays smarter this year with Founders Federal Credit Union. Now through December 31st, take advantage of 5.99% APR on select purchases made with your Founders credit card. Spread more holiday cheer this year without breaking your budget. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more information. Membership qualification required. Promotional rate ends July 1st, 2026. Effective APR of 13.00 to 17.90% will apply. See website for details.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
Let's continue here on the High School Scoreboard, brought to you by our good friends at Founders Federal Credit Union all across the state, South Carolina. Let's go to Lou Bajak from the State Newspaper, thestate.com, GoGamecocks.com. Took in that Dutch Fork win tonight. Dutch Fork could have predicted this one. 30-10, maybe a bigger margin than many expected. Welcome in, Lou. Dutch Fork looked good to you tonight, or they were behind early, and then they kind of put their foot down and said enough.
Yeah, it didn't look good. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't do anything in the first quarter and a half. It was 10-0 Dorman, and Dorman had the ball driving and kind of questionable they went for a deep pass. And KJ Dupree made a nice interception on the play, and that led to a touchdown. And with about 2 minutes left in the half, and then Jaden Worth, Division I prospect, the junior, strip sack of quarterback Slidell, and Julian Walker, the Michigan commit, recovered it. And they were able to score right before halftime and at the buzzer, and then they kind of dominated in the second half. Defensively, they scored on the first possession, and then they scored twice in the fourth quarter, and held Dorman to 42 yards in the second half. And defensively they were pretty stout. They struggled, like I said, to find rhythm, to find things going, but then they started to wear them down running the ball. Quentin Wilson, Jackson Knotts ran the ball from his quarterback spot, made a couple big plays in the passing game, and did a fake reverse for the go-ahead score in the third quarter, and then they were able to earn their spot, and now get a rematch with Somerville next week for the state championship. That's their 10th straight state championship appearance. And now Tom Knotts is 13-0 in state semifinal games as Dutch Fork head coach.
Is that a record in the state in terms of consecutive state championship appearances? 10, is that a record?
I would be almost certain, but I don't want to. I definitely would double check for sure. But I don't know anyone, even the other ones that have won 4 or 5 in a row. 10 in a row is pretty special.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What was the crowd like? What was it the stadium like when Dorman jumped out to that 10-0 lead? Was it kind of a stunned situation, or were they still pretty confident?
The Dutch Fork fans were stunned. The Dorman, they brought a good crowd, and they're really into it. And I was thinking, man, and they were struggling, just couldn't move the ball. The punting, special teams wasn't very good. I think they had an 8-yard punt and just weren't nothing in rhythm. But the defense, those 2 turnovers kind of changed the momentum, and they really locked down. That defense is special. We know the guys up front with Worth and Walker and Cesario, but then you got the corners. You got Mario Anderson, KJ Dupree, Taj Gibson, who's you guys are going to hear about him. He's just a freshman starting at corner. And then the linebackers, Riley Salter's been there forever, and he had another great game tonight.
All right, got to ask you, because you're as close to Julian Walker as anybody in the media anywhere. He's still going up to Michigan this weekend, and who do you think he's signing with on Wednesday?
He keeps telling me, go blue, go blue. I talked to him a little bit tonight. Actually, I think there's a Michigan recruiting guy there tonight. He's getting on the plane early tomorrow morning and heading up to Ann Arbor. It's going to be tough. We'll see what I know this trip is, like he said the other day, is for his mom, basically. See what she thinks. And she'll have a good say, but, I think they'll see what the decision's going to be, and we'll see if he has a decision by Monday or if he takes it all the way to Wednesday. I think they have something planned Wednesday morning around 8 o'clock at Dutch Fork for the signing. We'll see. He's been, like I said, South Carolina almost every week except for this one, and I think he went to North Carolina a week. So we'll see. The Gamecocks have definitely made their stance and made their push for sure.
What an interesting deal. His dad works for Shane Beamer. His dad works for the Gamecocks. They live here in Columbia. That's a tough situation to be in for a young man.
But they are from Midwest. He's moved around. So, we'll see. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Indeed. Hey, Lou, you are the man. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow, I'm sure. And we'll say hey, and then we'll see you next week. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Lou Bajak from the States. And we'll be back.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
Here's today's STEM tip.
Don't throw out that old plastic bottle. Repurpose it by turning it into an awesome terrarium. Just fill it with sand, pebbles, soil, and your favorite plant. It'll grow sealed right in its own ecosystem. Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
President. With SRN News, I'm Ron Taylor. The charges against the man who authorities say shot 2 National Guard members have been upgraded to first-degree murder after one of the soldiers died. Janine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, announced the new charge Friday. Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf were critically injured in Wednesday's shooting in the nation's capital. Hong Kong firefighters have found dozens more bodies in a high-rise complex after a massive fire engulfed 7 buildings. The death toll has risen to 128. The death toll from flooding in southern Thailand has reached at least 145. More than 1.2 million households and 3.6 million people have been affected across 12 provinces. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky announcing the resignation of his powerful chief of staff, Andrei Yermak, who was also the country's lead negotiator in talks with the U.S. The resignation Friday came hours after his residence was searched. This is SRN News.
Hi, I'm Tazima. Join me every Saturday at 11 a.m. for Small Business Saturday. We'll celebrate business owners in our community while learning their stories of success and failure. It's Small Business Saturday right here at 100.7 The Point.
This Panther Update is brought to you by UNC Charlotte.
As the Panthers get set to host the LA Rams, we pay tribute to a man who was one of the Rams' all-time great players, but also part of Panthers history as well, in the great Roman Gabriel. I'm Jim Zoki with the Panthers Update after this.
Charlotte's momentum has a name, UNC Charlotte. 32,000 students strong, ranked among the nation's top 75 public universities, recognized at the highest level for research, unmatched access to Fortune 500 companies, built for a top-tier city. This isn't typical higher ed. The difference is scale. The difference is momentum. The difference is Charlotte, UNC Charlotte.
Roman Gabriel was born and raised in Wilmington, North Carolina, where he was a star player at New Hanover High School. From there, he went on to be a quarterback at NC State, where he was a 2-time ACC Player of the Year and a 2-time All-American in 1960 and 61. After being drafted in 1962 into the NFL, he would play 16 years, invited to 4 Pro Bowls, and was the 1969 Most Valuable Player with the Rams, where he played for 11 years. Off the field, Roman appeared in a number of popular TV shows and movies and as a broadcaster for CBS TV and radio before becoming a Carolina Panthers' first ever color commentator for 7 years, joining Bill Rosinski and me from 1995 to 2001. Then he moved back to the Carolina coast, living in the Little River area before passing away in 2024 at the age of 83. Roman was inducted into both the NC State and the College Football Hall of Fame, but unfortunately never the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton.
And I look at this way, how lucky I am that I got to play the Wilmington Sports Hall of Fame, and North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame, the NC State Hall of Fame. So, my pocket's full, really.
I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
This Panther Update has been brought to you by UNC Charlotte, built for a top-tier city. The difference is Charlotte, UNC Charlotte.
I'm Kimberly Cockrell from Lexington. I work closely now with MAD South Carolina. In 1993, my best friend Nancy was killed in a drunk driving crash. MAD was there for me and will be there for you if you've been affected by a drunk or drugged crash.
Friends, this is Kevin Cohen. If you've been impacted by one of these tragedies, let MAD help you. Online, it's mad.org, or call them 748-7333. That's 748-7333 for MAD.
Someone will be right with you.
All right, rolling along on this cold. Was it cold out there, people? Was it cold out? 75 degrees in our studio. David Shelton, were you cold tonight? sitting in your luxury condominium down in the Charleston area?
Yeah, it's a little cold.
Well, turn on the heat. That's what we do.
I got it on.
David, do you have a lazy boy or a cheap? Do you have a fat boy recliner?
I don't know what it is, but it's a pretty comfortable one.
There you go. I wouldn't get out of it. All right. Let's continue with reports. We continue here on the high school scoreboard, and it's Justin Mathis. We just got Lou Bajak's report on the Dutch Fork win. Get Justin's take on the Dorman performance tonight. Justin, part of the Dorman broadcast crew. And hey, what were you thinking when the Cavs were up 10-0? Were you feeling kind of confident?
I mean, yeah, the energy on the sideline went up on that first drive. Dorman got inside the 5-yard line. I think got down to about the 1 or the 2, and had Dorman lined up in their Gator package, which is their variation of a Wildcat style play, and had a false start that backed the ball up, and so that forced Dorman to kick a 23-yard field goal. But the fact you got points on that first drive after getting a Dutch Fork punt to start the game, you could start to feel the energy rise a little bit, Phil. And then on the next series, or maybe it was a couple series later, some of these drives run together in my brain on this cold night. Dorman calls the timeout late in that touchdown drive. It was, I believe, 3rd down. Dorman calls timeout. They come out of the huddle. They line up. Meek Slidell rolls right, hits Tragan Mickler, who catches it about the 7, and then he danced around a pair of Silver Fox defenders and dove for the pylon and got the ball inside the pylon across the line for the 10-0 lead. And at that point, you're kind of like, okay, here we are. But then Lou alluded to it. He mentioned the interception. Slidell was trying to put the ball in the window, and it was just a fraction off, and that fraction was the difference between a completion, which would have been probably inside the Dutch Fork 35 or 40-yard line, and what proved to be an interception that, in my opinion, swung the momentum entirely. It gave Dutch Fork a semblance of life, and they showed why there's a chance, And looking at some numbers, Phil, from what I can tell, Dorman was outgained 342 to 172. I haven't seen a discrepancy like that on the numbers all season long. So also credit to Dutch Fork in the second half. They were able to get some things going. They ran this little off-tackle run play with both running backs, Shine and Wilson, off the left and right tackles, where it kind of looks like a delayed draw. And they were able to find some success with that, along with the quarterback Knotts doing some damage on the run game. But, yeah, hey, going from 6-4 a year ago, Phil, to now 10-3 overall, you win the Region 2-5A championship, which many people call the Black and Blue Division, and rightfully so. But you can't help but be impressed with what this turnaround that the Cavaliers made in just one season, from struggling to find an offense to now finding a very consistent offense to pair with that great defense they had.
Do they have a great deal coming back? Will they be expected to be among the favorites for next year?
I mean, they should have a good, solid core coming back. All 3 running backs. Nick Means was the bell cow. He's a junior. Isaac Tate also saw significant playing time. He's a junior. Then you have the freshman Carter Nash. So you have a 3-headed monster in the backfield. Slidell graduates. He's a senior. So, and that presumably it would be Cooper Patterson taking over at quarterback. He did a great job with the JVs this year, who I believe maybe had 1 loss. But it's exciting times that are ahead for this Cavalier program, Phil.
Sounds like it. Justin, we thank you, of course. Great job all season long. Really appreciate it. And great job on WQUL up in Spartanburg Woodruff doing the Dorman games. Say hello to Bob for us, and have a great holiday season if we don't see you before then.
Yes, sir. Hey, y'all have a Merry Christmas and other holidays that everyone celebrates.
Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Okay. All right, so Dorman put up a good fight, David, but not good enough. Turnovers. Of course, that Dutch Fork defense got really tough in the second half, pretty much shut them down. You think Dorman's got something going, though, as far as growing that program and elevating it back to the level of winning a state championship in the relatively near future?
They're headed in the right direction. A 10-win season. They do have the running backs coming back. But, Dorman's such a big school. Their JV programs, their younger age programs are very competitive every year. So they're going to kind of reload a little bit. But they do play in a tough region. And, nothing's guaranteed. I mean, other than Dutch Fork. I mean, people have bad years. But I definitely think that Dorman's, definitely on the right track.
Is it possible, while Tom Knotts is still coaching at Dutch Fork, and who knows how much longer he wants to coach, is it possible for Dutch Fork to have a bad year as long as he's there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, a bad year would be like 8-2 or 7-3. They're in that. They're just in that stratosphere where like Alabama was with Nick Saban. It's major news when they lose. I definitely think Coach Knotts will be back next year. Obviously,
yeah,
his kid will be a senior, but after that we'll see. But and then it'll be interesting. Once he leaves, it'll be interesting who they hire and where it goes. But, God, I had forgotten until Lou said it, that this is going to be their 10th straight appearance in the finals. I mean, that is, and to answer your question, you want to know if it ever been done? No, it hadn't. That's something that it may never happen again.
And, how hard is that as a coaching staff to year in, year out, churn out that kind of success? I mean, coaches are human as well, and, they have a satisfaction point. I know you're changing players every year, and new players bring in new energy, but, he pretty much, I don't know what his coaching staff turnover has been like. I think he's pretty much had the same coaches. What a credit to him and his staff to have that desire every year to want to produce a state champion.
Yeah, it's a hunger that just never, that you keep feeding the beast, and the beast never gets filled up like the macaroni and cheese yesterday. So he did lose Coach Pelham. His defense coordinator a few years ago went to White Knoll, but you're right. Their staff has pretty much stayed together. I don't know him personally, but you don't hear a whole lot about coaching changeover at Dutch Fork. They love working for Coach Knotts. He's very demanding, but he's also very fair and to the point, and you never have to guess what he's thinking because he will tell you.
People might wonder, why we don't ever have him on. We can't ever get him. We've tried in the past many times calling him, but he doesn't seek the media out. I don't think he's a guy that really cares to see himself on television, hear himself on radio, or see his words in the newspaper.
Yeah, that's not why he does this. He does this because he's a football coach. And, again, I hate to keep throwing the comparison, but, Nick Saban was the same way. He didn't like to he wasn't like media friendly. He wasn't rude to him, and Coach Knotts is not rude, to the media. It's just not something that he wants to do.
No.
And there are some coaches like that. There are some that crave the media and they look for the cameras, and they call us instead of we call them. But Coach Knox that's who he is.
That is him. That's for sure. All right. One more report for now. We got one reporter left on the line. Let's go to Dennis Brunson, high school sports report, of course. And he, too, was watching Lamar take down Louisville tonight. So, Dennis, thank you for joining us. What did you see out of those Silver Foxes tonight?
They were dominant up front. They got out to 27-0 lead, and Louisville helped them a little bit. They threw an interception on the first play of the game to set up a short field, and quarterback Zori Pierce scored on a fourth down and goal from inside the one to put them up 7-0. And then Louisville went for it on, I believe it was 4th and 1, right around midfield, and didn't get it. So 49-yard line, they're starting Lamar's starting at the 49. They have 4th and 1 at the 40, and they run a keeper with Pierce, and he breaks through and he's gone. So it's 14-0 very quick. But he ended up with 4 touchdown runs and 2 touchdown passes. He had a great game. He's a Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl selection. And he's a nice football player. He's been a 4-year starter for Lamar at quarterback, and he plays in the he plays some in the secondary. He played about half the snaps back there tonight, according to Coach Tyler Boyd. And they just dominated. Louisville scored right before the half to get it 27-7. And then Lamar got the ball first to start the second half, but first play they fumbled the ball away. Louisville got it in the end zone to make it 27-13 with plenty of time left. I mean, it was like 10:51 left in the third quarter at that point, but they could never get it down to a one-score game. Lamar came right back and put together a long scoring drive, and they just they controlled both lines, the offensive line in particular. Their offensive line was great. They along with Pierce, they had running back Nigel Eady and Jaquez Dargan, good little running backs. And they had the room to run, and they took advantage of it. And their defense played pretty well. Louisville it just took them a while to get started, unfortunately for them. And this was a rematch of the Region 2 Class A for the Region 2 Class A championship at the end of the regular season, and Lamar won that game 21-14 after getting out to a 2-touchdown lead. And of course, Louisville went up to Abbeville and came down from 2 scores in the fourth quarter to beat that juggernaut. Everybody. I think I'm safe in saying that everybody's surprised. But you had now for you and me and David, we had Usher against Boyd tonight.
Yes, that's right.
But it just wasn't Al and JR. I don't know if that ever actually happened back in the day. I think Central was always 2, and Lamar was they may have been 2A one time. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they've never matched up against each other. But it was their sons coaching against each other tonight.
Wow.
And Tyler against Trent. And Tyler came over. He played for his dad, obviously at Lamar, and then he'd been the head coach at Williamsburg Academy over in Kingstree for the last 2 years, and he got the job when Stephen Burris, went from Lamar to Westwood, and he got the job at his alma mater. So that Lamar Bamberg game should be quite interesting. Lamar's they've got the athletes like they always have, and but they've got some big boys too. The ones who can push people around a little bit. So, but man, Phil, they've got a nice football field, man. I mean, their 5A schools would love to have the field they've got. Now, I don't know whether having John Abraham and Levon Kirkland as alumni has anything to do with that or not, but they've got a nice turf field, and it's a sweet facility. And they had both. Louisville traveled well, and Lamar, they had a good crowd. If they'd have put everybody standing around the fence in the stands, they would have probably had their stands full, and they've got big capacity especially for a Class A school.
Yeah.
They've got a nice facility.
All right, Dennis, we got to go. That's great reporting, great stuff on your end, and we appreciate you noting the historical nature of the matchup. We'll see you in Orangeburg next weekend.
One quick thing about Dutch Fork.
Yep.
You remember 2 years ago they had a bad season. They were 5-5, and then they've got in and rolled through the state playoffs.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that was a terrible season.
Yeah. And they still won.
Okay, I'll let you go, Phil.
Thank you, buddy.
Sorry.
No problem. Great hearing from you. We'll take this break. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
The holiday shopping season is here. Get ahead of the crowd by shopping early and shopping smart with Founders Federal Credit Union. Now through December 31st, take advantage of 5.99% APR on select purchases made with your Founders credit card. Whether you're picking up the hottest toys for the kids or finally grabbing that item you've had your eye on, this offer makes it easier to spend holiday cheer without stretching your budget. Founders is here to help you make the most of the season with smart spending and flexible options. Treat your family and yourself. Save more and make this holiday season one to remember. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more information. Membership qualification required. Promotional rate ends July 1st, 2026. Effective APR of 13% to 17.9% will apply. See website for details.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosseller-Brown. Did you know Lawyer Lisa offers a prevention plan add-on to our services? If you already have a trust or just need some updates, ask about getting your ducks in a row and getting all of your wishes set out before it's needed. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Many of South Carolina's top high school seniors meet in one unforgettable showdown in Myrtle Beach. It's the 78th Annual Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl. Hi, I'm Phil Kornbluth. Join me Saturday, December 13th at noon, live on your Sports Talk Media Network affiliate and streaming on all of our social media channels. Don't miss the pride, the passion, and the tradition of the Touchstone Energy Bowl, powered by your local Touchstone Energy Cooperatives. Get your tickets now at touchstoneenergybowl.com. Lose, Gators. Lose, Gators. Gators lose, Gators lose, Gators, Gators lose, Gators. You will lose to the Seminoles. All right, really quick, I was looking for some info on that Bamberg Earhart and Cross game. Rob Gant from the Sports Report, reading some of his tweets. Bamberg Earhart led 14-12 at halftime, and then Bamberg Earhart led 22-12 third quarter. 11-yard touchdown run. Then Cross pulled within 22-20 with under 5 minutes left third quarter. And then that was Bamberg Earhart up 29-26, and Cross turned it over on downs, and Bamberg Earhart wins it at that point. So Bamberg Earhart moves on to the state championship. So very quickly, David Shelton, give me winners for next week in Orangeburg at the state championship football games. Just give me winners here. We're getting a little tight. I want to get them all in, David Shelton. So 5A Division I state championship, Dutch Fork versus Somerville, and Shelton says.
Well, it's got to be Dutch Fork because I don't pick against Tom Knotts.
The plumber wants Tom Knotts to be the next coach at Florida.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, take a pay cut.
He'd probably take a pay cut, though.
Yeah. God, we think alike. 5A Division II, Northwestern Irmo rematch, and Shelton says.
It's going to be very close, very tight, and I like Northwestern.
Oh, all right. Let's go to 4A. South Point, South Florence, and this too a rematch? Was this a rematch?
No.
Who'd South Florence play last year?
Westside, wasn't it?
That's right. Okay. South Point, South Florence, 4A, Shelton says.
Being it Friday night, and I got a week to think about it, I'm going to take South Florence tonight, but I could change that.
Yeah, we'll do it again next Friday night. But right now you like the Bruins.
Yes.
Let's go to 3A. Belton Honeypath, Oceanside Collegiate. This is a rematch. Belton Honeypath, Oceanside Collegiate, and Shelton says.
This is the third rematch of the finals. I'm going to go Oceanside. I think Belton's definitely got a shot, but I'm going to go Oceanside. They just seem to be clicking right now.
All right. In 2A, Strom Thurmond against Hampton County, Shelton says.
I'm going to go Hampton County.
Hampton County, the newbies. And in 1A, Lamar and Bamberg Earhart, Shelton says.
Let's go Lamar.
Lamar. They've won a bunch of them, and Bamberg Earhart has as well in the past. That should be a great matchup. Okay, David, thank you very much, my friend. David Shelton with his analysis tonight. Thank you, Plumber. Thanks to everybody who called in. Thanks to you players, coaches, parents, and fans and officials. Have a great night.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Ron Taylor. The suspect in the shooting of 2 National Guard members is now facing a first-degree murder charge.
Janine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, announced the upgraded charges after the death of 20-year-old specialist Sarah Beckstrom. Pirro said the suspect drove across the country to launch an ambush-style attack with a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver. He initially faced charges of assault with intent to kill while armed and possession of a firearm during a crime of violence. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Correspondent Raphael Wilbur reports from Hong Kong, where the emotional toll of a deadly apartment block fire is sinking in.
Hong Kong authorities say that the terrible fire that ravaged a giant set of apartment blocks is now officially under control, but the fallout remains. People are still without homes. The numbers of dead and missing are still not confirmed. For Hong Kong, which is such a densely populated place, so many people live in high-rise apartment blocks like this. It's so terrifying to see this all go wrong in this way. So I think it strikes at the soul of the people in Hong Kong. Everybody is in distress about this.
The death toll from flooding in southern